Hello from Mobile World Congress 2023. I'm here together with Ferdy Peters, the CEO, Experian Africa. Hello, nice to meet you.
Good afternoon.
We heard a lot about financial inclusion here during the sessions and also in the opening ceremony. What is your take on financial inclusion and the issues we have in Africa and how we can overcome it?
So, if we look at the population of people in Africa, one of the biggest challenges for people in Africa to prosper and to actually move ahead is this whole thing around financial inclusion. And if I can use South Africa as an example, where we've done extensive research about this, we've got 42.2 million adults in South Africa. Of that 42.2 million adults in South Africa, 19 million of them have a bank account. And of that 19 million, only 8 million have a single credit product that they actually utilize. Now you understand what we talk about financial inclusion, because the 42.2 million people actually, on a day-to-day basis, somehow earn an income, whether it's a state grant, or whether it is a salary, or whether it's a sole proprietor, or whatever it is. They transact because they buy the commodities and necessities for a household, they pay medical bills, they pay other bills, but there is no record of these people.
Does this include also the mobile wallets?
The mobile wallets in totality is a portion that sits there but is also invisible.
Okay, nice.
Because it never gets recorded and it never forms part of the statistics that companies or countries in Africa actually report on. So mobile money has changed it significantly, and it has created a platform for people, but it's typically a payment platform, and it's a way and a means that most of the people still use to only transact. They do not offer the other services that banks would typically offer, and where the greatest need at the moment is. The greatest need in Africa at the moment is around the ability for individuals, small and medium enterprises, to gain access to credit from a reputable organization, that they don't fall in the hands of loan sharks that then rip them off. And so this is where the real challenge lies around financial inclusion. If you don't have a financial record or a credit record, so you've never borrowed before from a bank, and you go and apply for a loan,
it will be very difficult.
It is impossible. The immediate answer will be, how can I score you and I know that you will pay me back? And so I'm not even going to think about processing your application any further. And so immediately people remain outside of that formal economy. Now and again, I go back to South Africa. If you think about employment in South Africa, of our formal people in employment in South Africa, 80% of them are employed by small and medium enterprises. This is typically entrepreneurs, and their companies have sort of between 30 and 50 people. Now, if you think about the size of the South African economy, it's not the big businesses that generate the jobs. It's not the big businesses that drive the economies. It's small and medium enterprise. Now, ultimately, the small and medium enterprise is actually an individual. And if they can't get access to finance, how do they ever grow that business into something that becomes really meaningful, and it will really meaningfully change the fortunes of not only their families, but the people that they employ and the rest of it? And so financial inclusion is a much wider thing. It's also other financial products. It's the loan part of it. It is insurance. It is health insurance. And so it is a much wider ecosystem than just banking and lending.
All right, thank you for that. It's very insightful. Today you announced a partnership with MTN Stenosis.
Yes.
Would you mind to tell us a bit more? What is your idea and strategy behind it to, let's say, drive the financial inclusion in Africa?
So, as I previously said, the biggest challenge for individuals is they don't have financial history anywhere.
Yeah.
So they become what we call credit invincible,
Okay.
invisible. You don't see them, you don't know about them.
Mm-hmm.
We had conversations earlier this year with Genesis, and they're one of the biggest mobile network providers in Africa. And on top of that, they have Momo, which is the financial services part of it. And the information that sits within MTN is absolutely invaluable, because with that information, if I get it on a consented basis, and I have to repeat this to say on a consented basis because of GDPR, PAPIA, and other privacy laws nowadays, I can start building a picture of individuals that I can ultimately take and use the skills of Experian in our normal credit decision making, where we build credit reports plus credit scores and do a whole bunch of other analytics, and create then a credit report that individual, if they arrive at the bank with and apply for a loan and they put it in front of the bank from a reputable institution like Experian, chance of them getting that loan is almost certain. The big difference between what we're doing now and what credit bureaus are doing typically is credit bureaus either get negative credit data, so credit only comes from credit providers. They will report on you if you do not pay or if you default. Other credit bureaus get positive data and negative data. So the positive and negative data is they report on everything. As you pay every month, how the file installments are, what is your total exposure, and the rest of it. So what we're now doing is we're saying, let's look at other data that is as rich or richer than just positive or negative credit data that we can then build scores on. Now you can imagine if I take a individual like yourself, and let's say you have a Momo account, your salary comes into your Momo account. You start paying your electricity bills out of it. You pay your school fees
regularly
out of it. You do all of that. We've got a categorization engine at the back end of it. We take all of those, we put them into different categories, 4 main categories: income, and then expenditure side. We look at what is essential, what is luxury, and what is investment.
All right.
Once we've got that, and I apply my algorithm to it, I end up with a score much better than normal credit bureau score. And so that's why we partnered with Genesis, because they have the depth and wealth of data that we as Experian, with our knowledge about the credit industry and being the biggest credit bureau in the world, actually can go and create credit scores that will change this narrative that we currently sit with, where people who actually deserve to have access to credit cannot get access to credit. And hence the partnership with organizations such as MTN. The breadth and the depth of what they have in terms of information is absolutely fantastic. Just the information on people who have prepaid mobile, even that already is an exciting start and a point for us. And so this is one of our first partnerships. We're partnering with other people so that we can build up other key data points and make the data around individuals and small and medium enterprises so much richer, so that we can pull them into the formal economy and we can really kickstart the African economy with all its potential that is here, but is so latent because they just can't get the financing. We heard yesterday in the opening speech, still the issue around how do we get the capital? How do we get the money, the investment into Africa? And this is one very simple way of doing it. It's here, it's just not being applied.
True. All right. Thank you very much. It was very insightful. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
That was Tech Africa News from Mobile World Congress 2023. See more on techafricanews.com.